This
Okay,
is
so
Kale.
yeah, go
JPL.
ahead, please.
I had a question about the drilling. As we are kind of talking about in chat, like drilling fluids on the moon, probably not possible. What are the other solutions? And if we're limited to dry drilling sands fluid, what are the depths that we can expect to reach?
I'm guessing that's aimed at me. Uh, so, well, we do have drilling fluids. So when we talk about drilling in oil and gas, we do overbalanced and underbalanced drilling. Overbalanced drilling is where you use water and muds, basically just thick fluids is as our drilling fluid that's weighted. So it's higher pressure than your formation pressure. But you use gases and you go underbalanced drilling as well. Honeybee Robotics and Redwire, they've got their core tubing system and they're considering using gas as their circulation product. So that's still a drilling fluid. Um, if you want to do dry drilling, it's really up to how the formation stands up. So the ability, if you have the ability to circulate, then if you have any formation collapse around your wellbore, then that circulation has the ability to lift those cuttings if you're circulating at a sufficient rate to surface. If you're doing dry, so basically you're just doing like core drilling and just going down, pulling out core samples, or you've got a rotary drill, like a corkscrew going in. Then that can change. So it's really up to the parameters of the material and the equipment which you're using. I would highly recommend not doing dry drilling because once the formation collapses on you, that's it, mate. Unless you know how to fish and do recovery methods, which I know many people in this environment do not know. That's a specialized field in oil and gas. And unfortunately, I've got a bit of experience in that, but we can make procedures in order to get recovery. But it's tough. Takes a while.
Right. Yeah, thanks. I think that there's a lot that for the equivalence between terrestrial drilling and the environments there and the training that would need to go into this is something to certainly to consider. And who the personnel are would start to be more and more interested in as we go through astronaut candidates and who those people might be. There's certainly going to be this training aspect and getting hands-on. I think it's an important point about experience and the feel of being on the surface and understanding what you're actually getting your hands into. So those are all excellent points. Any other questions for the preceding speakers? I'd ask Sarah then, if you're still in line, and maybe Alessandro as well, is that this is a longer conversation, but as far as content, if we get back to geologic maps and what the content might need to be, is there like a top one or two things that you see as being relevant for geologic map content as we move beyond just scientific product as we see them for planetary geologic maps, and something that might be more friendly for the users from a resource standpoint, resource assessments and extraction, and Josh as well.
Sure. What I see is, and what's come up often in the discussions of the focus groups among the Lunar Surface Innovation Consortium, has been the need for maps that are populated with some of the geotechnical measurements and other data that we're able to obtain, that foundational information for moving forward with evaluating materials and beginning to use them both in bulk and in refined processes. And then also starting to build a lexicon of the materials that we would consider using, that are under consideration, that are being tested, and beginning to map them to the abundances of materials and situate that information in a spatial context so that we can, in effect, carry out those resource evaluations. I think another thing that could be useful, because we are working with such vastly interdisciplinary teams, is to just have some sessions and presentations like we had just before mine, where people with the specialized experience share those basic foundational principles and parameters that they're working with. For example, having somebody come in and talk about the, that NI 43-101 process, where they undertake the calculations for evaluating the value and potential of a resource in a mining claim.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, we don't have any more time for this.